All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to tackle a question that trips up even the best product teams out there. We're going to map it all out using this incredible framework from the W3C, the people who literally help write the rules for the web. We're talking about web accessibility, and trust me, by the end of this, you'll have a super clear playbook for your own team.
I mean, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? When a feature isn't accessible or something breaks, whose job is it to fix it? This one question can cause so much confusion, so many delays, and honestly, it's often the very reason accessibility gets shoved to the back burner.
Ah yes, the classic accessibility hot potato. You've seen it, right? It's a game nobody wants to play, but it happens all the time. When there's no clear ownership, accessibility becomes this afterthought. It's always someone else's job. And that is exactly the problem we have to solve, not with more finger-pointing, but with a solid plan.
And that's exactly where we're going. Instead of just passing the problem around, we're going to start looking at accessibility as a coordinated team effort. And the best part? There's actually a structured, official way to do this.
So let's meet ARRM. It stands for Accessibility Roles and Responsibilities Mapping, and it comes straight from the W3C's Web Accessibility Initiative. So this isn't just some good idea someone had. It's a framework built by the experts to bring clarity to the chaos. It's all about assigning clear ownership across every single part of your team.
So how does ARM actually work? Well, it starts by recognizing something we all know. Building for the web is a team sport. It identifies the common roles you see on pretty much any project and then maps specific accessibility tasks to each one. So let's see who's on the team.
The framework breaks it all down into these core areas. You've got business, content authoring, visual design, UX, and of course, front-end development. Now, most of us probably fit into one of these buckets, right? So the first step is really just identifying where you and your teammates actually sit.
Okay, now here's the secret sauce. This is what makes the ARRM framework so powerful. It doesn't just assign a task to a role, it defines the type of responsibility each person has, and it does it with three simple letters: P, S, and C. And understanding these three letters, that's the key to making this whole thing click. First up, we've got P for primary. Just think of this as the doer. This is the person whose hands are actually on the keyboard. It's the developer who's implementing an accessible component, or the writer who's crafting the perfect alt text. They have that direct, hands-on responsibility.
Next is S for secondary. Now this role, it's all about quality control. The secondary owner is the validator. They're the person who has to check the primary owner's work to make sure it was done right. This could be a QA engineer testing a feature, or maybe a UX designer reviewing a component. It creates that absolutely crucial system of checks and balances.
And finally, there's C for contributor. This person supports the whole process. They might not be writing the final line of code, but they're providing essential inputs. Think about a visual designer giving you the exact color codes that meet contrast requirements. That's a contributor.
Okay, so theory's great and all, but let's make this real. How does this whole P, S, and C thing actually look when you apply it to a real-world, super common accessibility rule? Let's dive into a practical example and see how it all stacks up.
We're going to use one of the most well-known rules out there, providing alternative text for images. You probably know it as alt text. This is Guideline 1.1.1 from WCAG, the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. It's the perfect example of a task that can so easily fall through the cracks.
And this is where the ARM model gets really fascinating. If we look at a simplified view from the W3C's own table, you'll notice something right away. For something as simple as alt text, multiple roles have a P for primary responsibility. It is not just one person's job.
So let's translate that, right? What does this actually mean? It means the content author is a primary owner because, well, they write the text. But the front-end developer is also a primary owner because they have to actually put that text into the code. And look at UX. They're listed as primary, secondary, and contributor. Maybe they design how alt text behaves, but they also have to check the final result. This just brilliantly shows that accessibility is a shared, overlapping responsibility.
Okay, so let's get even more specific. Maybe you're a visual designer and you're thinking, okay, cool, but where do I fit in? Well, the ARM framework has a precise answer for you. It maps your unique skills to specific accessibility guidelines. So, for a visual designer, your playbook is crystal clear. You are the primary owner for making sure color contrast is on point, that is squarely in your court.
You're a secondary owner for guidelines around using images of text, meaning you need to check and validate that decision. And you're a contributor for stuff like focus order, providing input to the developer who's going to implement it. See? No more guessing. It's all laid out.
So, as we start to wrap this up, the main message becomes incredibly clear, doesn't it? We really have to stop thinking of accessibility as this specialized, siloed task for one person and start seeing it for what it truly is. Here's the bottom line. Accessibility isn't one person's job to tick off a checklist at the end of a project. No way. It is woven into everyone's role, right from the very beginning. It is a coordinated effort where every single player on the team knows their position and the responsibility. And that leaves us with one final thought to take back to your team. You have a process for design. You have a process for development, for content, for everything. The real question is, have you intentionally, clearly, and formally mapped accessibility into that process? Because when everyone knows their part, you don't just build products, you build better, more inclusive experiences for everyone.